Welcome back, my poets. Today is going to be more of a reading day than an explanation day because we are doing loose structured poems, which is basically my way of saying these poems neither rhyme nor have rhyme schemes, and yet they are beautiful. I think a lot of times with poems we get this idea of like, oh, there's a lot of rules, and if I don't apply those certain rules, it's stupid. And then I didn't do it right, and that makes me a lesser poem. I'm gonna repeat what I said last time. Half of the poets I follow, like that are modern day poets who write things, big names, small names, lots of followers, not a lot of followers, none of them really write with rhyme schemes or syllable counts. Like, none of them. So, let's read some classic poems. Let's read one by a friend of mine, and then let's read one that I have written that do not have a classic rhyme scheme. And I'm going to show you and hopefully make you love a lack of rhyme scheme and a lack of syllable count, even though, again, I myself typically write with a rhyme scheme. This is the last week where I will be talking about the structure of our poem, at least for a while. We're going to get into the things you put into your poem, like how to write sentences and stuff better. That's going to be the rest of this year's videos. So I'm going to read an excerpt from Ode to Joy. Now, this one's kind of cheating, because if you know anything about Ode to Joy, you're probably thinking, wait, that's a song. Yeah, and it has words, even though we typically only know the instrumental version. So I'm going to read an excerpt from that. So it says, "Gladly like the heavenly bodies, which he set on their courses, through the splendor of the firmament, thus, brothers, you should run your race, as a hero going to conquest." Stanza 2, that I am reading. This is not stanza 2, I'm at the end of the poem. "You millions, I embrace you. This kiss is for all the world. Brothers, above the starry canopy, there must dwell a loving Father. Do you fall in worship, you millions? World, do you know your Creator? Seek him in the heavens, above the stars he must dwell." No rhyming, not a discernible syllable count or iambic pentameter or diction to speaking it. If I was more familiar with the song, I'd probably be able to sing it, but I'm not that familiar with the song. And I think a poem that can stand on its own without knowing the song is great. I feel that way about some musical artists where like you listen to their music and I'm like, I could take this, write it on paper, read it out loud without the lyrics, and feel the same way. I've proved it. I did it in the first video with reading lyrics from Hadestown and Anastasia without singing it, which for me is hard because I'm a theater kid. All right, this is The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. I'm going to read this the way it is written, so you will notice we have longer line, single word, longer line, single word, longer line, single word. They're not that long. Our stanzas are very short. I'm gonna try my best to read them the way they're written. "So much depends upon a red wheel barrow, glazed with rain, water, besides the white chickens." It's so simple. This is one sentence that this man stretched into an entire poem. Some YouTubers have tried to do that for their books and it didn't work, and yet he got added to a book titled 100 Best Poems of All Time. So again, remember that the rules aren't important, because sometimes you can do none of them and still write super well. All right, this one is by my friend Hannah Hodgson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She's an internet friend. This is from her book Change of State, and the poem is called Fog. "I have an affinity for fog. The way it rests, it settles, it abides. I can feel it in my asthmatically inclined lungs. Feel it like a promise, heavy but true. Last June was a foggy month. It rained every day for 2 weeks, and I thought I had entered another world. I was in the midst of a battle within myself, as I was, and still am, trying to exist in a body that stopped hurting and a brain that was trying. Everything in my life feels in between. Like the fog, it will lift and reveal the mountaintops again. But for now, I must stand in the very center of faith, not able to see beyond a breath's length away. And it is good. I have an affinity for this place of life, this waiting, because in it I see God and his goodness in the land of the living." So this is how she has structured that. Obviously, I've annotated, I wrote at the bottom, amen. Here's one by me. You'll see more of a structure in this one because, again, I have a hard time not writing some sort of structure in my poems, and that's okay for me. You might be different. If you don't like these kind of poems, that's fine. This one's called Perseverance. "Perseverance. I fell down a lot as a child, covered in scars, bumps, and bruises, but I always got back to my feet, even if I shook a little. Perseverance. A lot of rejection when I was a teen, a beat-up, tattered heart left in a ditch, but I still continued, loving despite the pain, reopened my heart piece by piece. Perseverance. The door doesn't open when I pull it. It tears me up that it's not time yet. But still I stood, waiting for it to swing wide at the proper planned time. I think the beauty of non-structured, loose structured poems is the fact that you really have to depend on the words you say and how you say them. And with these poems I've read, sometimes it's something really simple. Sometimes it's, okay, this was this color. This is the thing. It was a green wheelbarrow. That's not what he said, but that's what my brain is saying. Sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes the simplicity is what makes it beautiful. Sometimes it's the honesty or the realisticness or just the artistic way of saying things. Taking away the structure takes away some of that polish. And by taking away that polish, you're left with more of a pure poem. I'm saying a lot of pretentious things to try to explain it. That doesn't mean, oh, loose structured poems are actually better than other poems, or, oh, other poems are actually more polished than a loose structured poem. They're both beautiful in their own way. This is just something that makes this different than other poems. This is going to be a shorter video. I apologize for that. If you want to watch more from this series, I have a playlist. You can watch it here. Subscribe. Thank you for watching.